What's going on, guys? I'm Subin here with Bhangra. This is basically our blueprint. We're going to walk through basics, fundamentals, everything you need to get perfect. Alright, first thing, we're just going to talk about fundamentals right now. We're not going to talk about the specific steps. There are three main things I want you to think about, okay? One of them is technically like four different things, but whatever, okay? First thing I like to do when I start doing Bhangra, take my feet out a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. So my shoulders are here, my feet are out here, so a little bit wider out, okay? As you can see, my knees are facing towards the corners. If they were facing front, it would look like this. You can look at that based on your toes. My toes are going corner, therefore my knees will go corner. You have to think of those two as connected in that way, okay? Next step, I'm gonna drop my knees and I'm gonna sit into that base, okay? Base is what we call like our foundation and what we dance in the whole time, okay? So I'm gonna sit into this base and my knees are gonna drop to the corner. If they drop to the front, that's wrong. So if you see this, that's wrong because as you can see, my knees are going front, okay? And my feet will oftentimes also go front. That's not a good thing. Keep your toes out, keep your knees out, and you should be able to make this sort of pentagon shape or whatever. This is like a house, right? You have these walls and you have this roof, okay? This shape is what you should be trying to make all the time when you dance, okay? Biggest thing. We're gonna start off, this is our base in every sort of basic. Every time we do a step, it's gonna be like this, unless I say otherwise. So there's like very little other steps like that, but this is the main part of this. So if you're gonna get this down, you're good for every other basic. Your second thing that you wanna focus on is staying on your toes, okay? So that's really important when doing Bhangra because we dance for, what, 7 to 8 minutes at a time. If we're not dancing on our toes, we're gonna hit our heels on the ground really hard, it's gonna hurt. Stay on your toes, stay airborne so you don't hurt as much, okay? So we'll get into that in more in depth when you actually do the basics, but just remember that point. And the third and final point is your posture. So as you can see, when I'm sitting here, my knees are up to the corner, my back is straight, my chest is out, my shoulders are rolled back, and my chin is up. When I'm dancing, I like to keep my chin up because that's a confidence booster. It looks better to the audience. And if you roll your shoulders back, your chest automatically comes up and your back is straight. If you dance like this, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see someone dancing like this. No one wants to see someone dancing like this. You gotta keep a healthy balance where you kind of balance center and you have your chest pointed upward and you do a little bit of confidence, okay? Those are the three main fundamentals I want you to think about while doing every single basic today. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our first basic, which is taps, okay? As you can see from the reference video, taps is one of the faster steps that we do, but really everything is in the same beat count, just about how you allocate those beats, okay? So we're gonna start in that base we previously discussed. With taps and with every other part of the basic, left foot goes first, okay? So we're gonna start with that left foot, we're gonna take it back on the and beat. So in Bhangra we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on those and beats, we're gonna pull our leg up. So it's gonna go and, okay? You see how I did that? This plant foot is still bent, it's trying to stay in that base. We wanna stay in this shape as much as we can because this is our base, it's our foundation. Okay, so we pull our left foot up on the and beat. And 1. Biggest thing, your foot needs to come completely off the ground. Watch it again. And 1. It's practically jumping in air. So if your feet don't come off the ground, it's gonna be really bad for your stamina and it's gonna hurt your feet a lot. Most of the set, you should be airborne. So you should be in the air most of the time. That means getting your foot fully off the ground. So not this. That's like bouncing. It's not off the ground. It needs to come fully off, okay? So again, and beat, foot comes up. On the number beat, it comes down. So, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Cool? So on the and beat, it pulls up. Number beat, it goes down. Main thing, stay on your toes. Your heels should not be hitting the floor. It should not be like this. That's too loud. You can hear it from here. You shouldn't be able to hear that much at all. Listen. You just want to make sure you're not hitting the ground really hard because if you do that, your height is going to change. You want to stay at one height the entire time. If you notice, my head level is not varying too much, but if you do this, it's a lot, okay? So try and stay stable. I'll do it one last 4 beats. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and work on the second basic, which is lifts, okay? So same concept, we wanna stay in that same base. Left foot goes first again, okay? Again, we're gonna be hopping on this plant foot, but it's gonna be different when we're doing it with the other leg. When we hop, this leg is gonna gradually come up on the and beat and it's gonna reach at my waist on beat 1. So, and 1, okay? Notice there's 2 hops in the plant leg. Step, hop, okay? It's a step, hop. When you step, this foot's gonna start coming off the ground, then it's gonna hop when it reaches this peak, okay? Step, hop, okay? Then you're gonna do the same thing on this side. Step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop. With the step hop, when you're lifting your leg, the leg needs to come all the way up 90 degrees, okay? It's making a 90-degree angle. This foot is flexed upwards, okay? It's dorsiflexion, and it's facing the corner. My knees are still facing the corner even when I'm lifting. When I'm lifting, they're not coming front like this. They're staying at the corners, and I'm still staying within this base. You can see how wide my body is. You wanna stay in that sort of base, okay? You're still hopping every time you do something, but the main part of this is to make sure that when you're hopping, this foot is coming up, and both feet should not be on the ground at the same time. If you notice again, 1, 2, 3, 4, they swap. No 2 feet are on the ground at the same time, okay? All right. Next basic is Fusla. Fusla is the exact same thing as lifts, except instead of doing this, we're kicking it behind us. So do you remember how when we talked about taps, our foot is pulling towards the center of our body and it's coming here? Fusla is the same concept, but it's doing it in the lifts form, okay? Just think about that for a little bit. But when you're lifting, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you're doing Fusla, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, you're kicking back and you're going step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. Again, with the plant foot, it has to fully come off the ground. If it's not coming off the ground, you're doing it wrong. So step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. And you want to maintain this shape the whole time. Again, staying on your toes is extremely important. No matter what speed you do Fusla. You can do Fusla fast, or you can do Fusla slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Regardless, these feet need to be on the ground, or your toes need to be on the ground. Knees to the corners, you need to kick to the center of your body. Fusla going like this, or Fusla going like this is wrong, because then your knees come forward. Your knees need to stay to the corner, pull your foot back. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Alright, and the final main basic is Punjab, okay? So we're gonna start in our base again, the same base. Now, Punjab is different from the rest of the steps because there's a lot of body movement going on, okay? So when you're doing Punjab, again, left foot goes first. You're gonna hop onto your right leg, put all your weight onto your right leg. Same way you do with taps. So remember how with taps you go like this? Same thing here, you're gonna put all your weight here, but instead of kicking back, you're gonna lift this foot up. And, okay? When you lift that foot up, and this foot needs to stay in its spot and stay bent. You should be making this shape with your foot, okay? It should still, your knee should still be bent to the corner. So, and 1, okay? The first thing, on the first beat, when you go and crash it back down, your foot is gonna tap next to the other foot. I don't know if you can clearly see, but facing this corner is a T. My foot is like this. It's creating a T shape, okay? I'll do that again. And 1. Okay, when I do that, my plant foot is hopping on and 1. So I don't know if you noticed, but with all 4 of these basics, my plant foot is hopping on the and the 1 on every single basic. So foot hopping and getting off the ground is extremely important, especially for this one. So again, and 1, okay? So you're gonna bring this foot over to the other foot. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna swing, okay? So it's gonna come up and then I'm gonna swing it back over. You're not gonna bring it here and then just put it down. You wanna swing your foot over so that it stays at your waist as long as it possibly can, okay? So 1, 2, okay? And then it's gonna return back to its base. Very simple. 1, 2. So the same way it went, the same way it's going back. And then you're gonna mirror it with the other side. 3, 4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you notice the whole time, my plant foot is always bent like this. It's making a sort of V, okay? It's making a V, okay? And with this foot, when it comes back over, it's also coming to the waist. So every time my foot is in the air, it's going to its waist. Essentially, the whole step is just this, with bounces. Okay, I'll do it one last time. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the final 2 basics aren't really basics, but we do them, so I'm gonna talk about them. First one is jumps, okay? So, when we jump, we're gonna stay wide. You don't wanna jump like this, that just looks bad, okay? You wanna jump staying in that base. Same way you do when you do taps, you're gonna kick to the center of your body. So you're not gonna jump like that. You're gonna jump with your knees out, kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Jump on your toes. If you're jumping heavily, it's not gonna work. And make sure you're taking the air time for that beats to allow. So if it's a really slow jump, 1, 2, make sure you're getting enough air time to do it. Okay, it's all about air time and it's all about landing on your toes. Next drop is, or next basic is drops, okay? They're also known as betka or betke, so if I ever say that, that's what it's called. But drops, very important. When you go down, your toes need to be on the floor. Your heels can't be on the floor. It should be only your toes. I'll show you. Ow. My toes are the only thing on the floor. They're together, still facing the corners. My knees are facing corners, okay? My back is straight. If your back is not straight, you fall over, okay? Keep your back straight so you have balance. Back straight, chest out, everything else, knees to the corner, okay? I'll turn to the side. You can see it's kind of like I'm propping myself up, okay? And all you're gonna do when you do drops, you're just gonna propel yourself off the ground using your calves. You're gonna push off with your feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? You're just leaving the ground like that. Cool.